Hey guys, welcome into another YouTube video. In this video I am testing dual mining ETH and TON on the 6600s of the entire rig, that is. I've got 8 6600s on this rig. Previously I've done the testing before. It was only on 3 6600s, which were the ASRock models, and it was also in LOL Miner. But yeah, I've recently found out that Team Red Miner now has dual mining as well. So yeah, we've got dual TON mining on Team Red Miner here. You can see my current settings are 1200 on the core. So something to note about TON is whatever you set the core clock to, it will basically scale how much TON gigahash you're getting. So if you want the most TON, you set the core clock as high as possible, and then you adjust the the core voltage, which is this one here, the VDD. You adjust that high enough for it to be stable, but not too high that it is unstable again. And if you want the most efficient TON megahash or gigahash, then you go for the same exact settings that you use for Ethereum. You can actually even tune some settings down, but you might get a little bit of instability from that, so I just went with the exact same settings as Ethereum for the most efficient settings on ETH+TON. If you have any cards like of these cards, so ASRock, Sapphire, Power Color, XFX, MSI, or Hellhound. This is a Power Color Hellhound, this one. You can tell by the XL and the little serial number down there. If you have any of those and you're looking for the settings, just take note of which GPU it is on there, and then pause the settings here so you can see which, like if you had an ASRock, GPU 0 is this one, the first one in each column, and those are the settings that I have for it. Keeping in mind I do also have auto fan on, so the fan percentages here mean nothing. You can see we're getting about 700 megahash, 720, 727, a little bit variable how much we're getting there. And we're still getting pretty much the full Ethereum hash rate, 28.88. Usually we'd get about 28.9, so we're like 0.02 megahash down, so basically negligible, and we're just going to ignore that and basically say that we're getting the exact same megahash from that. This has been running for an hour and 25 minutes with these settings. I've also done the testing on a whole bunch of other settings, but I'm not going to show it running in every setting because that would take so many more hours of testing and recording. So as you can see, we just jumped up to 28.9 on most of them, so they do get that max hash rate that they usually get, basically. Yeah, so now this document here, I have all the testing I've done, basically. This first line here is just regular Ethereum mining, and this is the efficiency that we're getting, 0.55, crazy efficient. So this is the entire rig from the wall. This wattage is the entire rig from the wall, and then this is the entire megahash that the rig is getting, because it's only mining Ethereum. So megahash divided by, that's not even a number, so megahash divided by watts at the wall gives you that number there, 0.5536. So we're using this number. If you've watched any of my other videos, you'll know that I can get this lower for just Ethereum mining. It would be 408 if I was using a different power supply. So I was using an 80 plus gold power supply. For this testing, given that we're drawing up to 1055 watts for the whole rig, I had to use a 1200 watt server power supply, which we still broke the 80% rule on. But yeah, it's not too much to worry about. For a server PSU, that is, and only for a short time. I could not run this one for long. it's in red for a reason. It was murdering my GPUs with heat. Yeah, I do have them all on a quite compact rig now. It's riserless, so yeah, this is not feasible. Actually, even 1800 core clock was not feasible for running for long periods of time because the heat was too much. If you have a rig where it's more spread out, you would be able to run 1800 core clock, probably pretty fine. But you would have slightly increased wattage at the wall. But then if you were using an 80 plus gold power supply, you'd have reduced wattage at the wall. Anyway, explaining this entire chart that we have here. So what are these first two columns are saying? We're just basically saying that for all of the testing purposes, we're considering that we're not losing any hash rate, because it just makes the complication so much, complicates the mathematics so much. In reality, we are losing about 0.4 mega hash sometimes, but other times we won't be losing any, so keep that in mind. So we're then assuming we're using the same number of watts, 418, for that mega hash on every single test I did, which means any more watts that we're doing, so on these ones where we are using more wattage than this base test, we are then taking the difference, which is what we've got here, and we're assigning that to, say that ton is using that wattage. And that's how we then derive a efficiency number, or a gigahash per watt number. So we're saying any wattage above this that we're using in order to mine the ton is being used by the ton, and then we divide the gigahash by that wattage that's being used, and you can see I've highlighted in green the most efficient setting, so it is crazy amounts more efficient than the top hash rate that we can get down here. So yeah, we've got total wattage at the wall is gets quite large at the bottom, and total ton gigahash here. You can see we're getting 12.95 gigahash across the rig for the higher setting, which per GPU is 1.6 gigahash, which is actually, yeah, pretty high, crazy high. But as I said before, unsustainable. 129 watts per GPU. So I've used the total figure here, subtracted the system idle of 20 watts, which is roughly how much my system idle is with this PSU, server PSU. Then I've divided it by 8, and that's given me how much each GPU is using, and hence how much wattage is going through each 6-pin cable from the power supply. Yeah, so that's an important safety number. When you are dual mining ton, I would not recommend putting 2 6600s on one 8-pin cable. If you're going up to like probably anywhere above 1400 core clock. And also make sure that you've got the undervolts correct if you're going to be doing that. The reason that I show the 1200 core clock running is because it's a fairly decent middle ground. We've got some gigahash there, but we're not pushing it past that safety limit. So that safety limit being you cannot have 2 of these, you could have 2 of 2 GPUs at this wattage running on one 8-pin PCIe cable, but it's not really recommended by the manufacturer's specifications on pretty much every PSU that rates them to 150 watts per cable for an 8-pin. We know that by technical definition and technical specifications, an 8-pin can handle up to 230 watts even after the 80% rule, 288 watts before the 80% rule. but do not use 288. I wouldn't even recommend using 230. You are voiding warranties if you do that. If you use over, I think it's usually 150. It might be different for different brands, and yeah, well, it's definitely different for some brands. Usually like service style power supplies that come with the cables. Like if you bought expensive ones, then they might have like a 300, 400 watt rating or something. But that's entirely up to the manufacturer's discretion, and yeah, they're not usually rated to that. So 1400, as well as the temperatures being moderate or manageable at this core clock. Yeah, you can go up to about 1400, pretty safe. But yeah, the 1200 was what I chose to go with, just for that little explanation there. Sorry for the little test here. It's just the one that I chucked up somewhere in the middle. But 1400 is probably better to go with. The ultimate most efficient one there is the 901 core clock, and it's getting 460 mega hash per GPU. Yeah, so what do I think is the best setting? Well, it really depends on your power situation, really. So this is crazy efficient, this is crazy inefficient, but if your power is half the cost of someone else, when they're calculating which one's going to be best for them to go to, you're going to be like at half the, or if yours is double the price, then you're going to be at half what they basically should be doing for efficiency. Yeah, it's kind of difficult for me to explain that, really. But if you pay more for electricity, you're going to want better efficiency so that you're spending less on electricity per gigahash you're getting. So yeah, I pay 18 cents per kilowatt hour US, or about 25.5 cents New Zealand dollars. So I want to go more efficient. I would stick in this range and probably not go up into this range here. Also because of the temperatures, I've put my GPUs way too close together on a riserless motherboard with like the narrowest spacing. Pretty sure it's 50 mil. I do have my eye on another riserless board, but not going to be buying it at the moment. Down the bottom here you can see, if you've watched my previous videos, the 6600 on dual mining Ethereum and TON. The only one that I actually showed in the test was the 1800. At the time I just thought everyone wanted the max gigahash, but now we're moving more into a bear market. I figured, well, coin prices are dropping and such, and everyone's worried more about efficiency. I figured I would break this out with lots of different options, like I did with the 6800 test. Once I'd done that, I just felt like that was a much better way to do these tests. So yeah, anyway, just to compare lolminer to Team Red Miner, I put the numbers in down the bottom. First thing you can notice immediately is the efficiency on Ethereum is greater. That is placebo effect, because this is using a 80 plus gold PSU, and it's also only using ASRoCs. So you can see in this test we're using 3 ASRoCs along with 5 other cards. In that previous test we were only using 3 ASRoCs, so they are more efficient. They use lower fans because they have a larger heatsink and better heat dissipation. So the fans are going lower, and they were also more spaced out, so the fans could go even lower, thus reducing the power draw. But either way, we'd use that power draw as the base, because that's what that rig could get. Yeah, I had 1800 on the core clock, and so for the rest of these numbers I've actually kind of taken it out to 8 GPUs. So although I only did the test with 3, I've expanded that out to say, just so that it's comparable to these figures here, I've just times the 1.1 gigahash that I got per GPU by 8. And that way, just realized that's in the wrong column. That way we can compare it in these figures. So if we looked at 8.8, the closest match here is this one here, 8.6, which is actually 2.2 gigahash lower, or 200 megahash lower, but it's the 1600 core clock. If we compare it to the 1800 core, then we're actually doing less gigahash on LOL miner than we are now doing on Team Red. So immediately that looks to me like it's better. And then the next thing that we would have to consider is comparing it roughly to this one, because it's similar gigahash. So if you were getting that performance, then how much watts is it using? So it's obviously using more watts than it is there, but it is also, you know, slightly less megahash. So realistically, we'd need to confirm that it is more efficient by comparing the efficiency number, the gigahash per watt. And as you can see, for the 1600 core clock, it is actually more efficient on Team Red miner than it was on LOL miner. If you do compare the 1800 core clock, it's pretty close in efficiency, but although it's close in efficiency, this is getting more gigahash. So you're still better off going with Team Red miner for whatever you're after, whether you're after the most gigahash or the best efficiency. Team Red miner is the winner in that comparison. And that was getting 1.1 gigahash per GPU, and each GPU was pulling 83.7 watts. So that's pretty much all the information that I have for this video. You can increase, should be able to increase this core clock up to 1400 without having to change this core voltage. I just I set it specifically so that you guys can do that. You can use these exact clocks, and it should, in theory, be able to go to 1400 core clock. So you'd be getting a bit more gigahash. You would be getting 900 megahash instead of 720 on average. So yeah, you can easily change that. If you're going down and you go down to 901 on the core, then you can use the same voltage, core voltage, that you use for Ethereum. So if I were to show that, it would be by using my saved sheet here. So you can see VDD here is the core voltage, or if we open it out like this, you can see core voltage. So before you're comparing like all my GPUs, my GPU 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So these are the core voltages that were needed for just Ethereum. So those would be the ones that you would use, the same if you just had it at 901 on the core clock, which would get you 460 megahash on TON, but it would be extremely efficient because it's only drawing 56.8 watts per GPU, which about can't remember actually how many watts of that. I think it's about 49 of that. Oh yeah, sorry, 49 right there. 49.8 watts of that would be attributed to Ethereum only. So yeah, only like 7 watt increase. Sorry, is it 7 watt increase from 7 watt increase from just mining ETH per card. So yeah, then we've got so 7 times 8 is 56. 56 right there. Increase just to add 3.65 gigahash of TON. hopefully this has provided a whole bunch of information on TON mining. Probably the last important thing that I'll mention is that I could not get this working without using icemining pool. I tried it with TON mining pool, Toncoin mining, no, Toncoin pool, and it didn't work. I don't think. I did found like one, just like a random post, someone saying that it doesn't work on any other pool except for ice mining. Someone then did say they got it going on Ton Whales pool or something, but yeah, personally I couldn't get it on Toncoin pool, so I just had to use ice mining in order to get it running. But once I did use ice mining, it worked fine. If you need to see the flight sheet, then yeah, this is what the flight sheet looks like, and the miner config looks like that. So that's the argument basically that was stopping me from getting it working for the longest time. I tried just using the same argument with like Toncoin pool, but it didn't work. So yeah, took a long time to get this working actually. And the reason I haven't posted a video in a few days is because I've been trying to get ETH+ dual mining going, and it just will not work. I'm going to post a video about that not working at a later date, honestly just to ask if anyone else has got it working. If anyone else has got it working, tell me how. Every time I start mining, dual mining ETH and ALF, after about 10 minutes, the rig crashes every time, no matter what settings I've got on. Even if I've got no settings in. And it's not the hashrate watchdog or anything, I could turn that off. I cannot find out what it is. But yeah, anyway, that's about all the information I have for this video. So yeah, if this helped you in any way, leave a like, comment, and subscribe to support the channel. And have a great rest of your day. See ya.